In the studio, it is former Met Police Detective Mike Neville. Hi, Mike.
Yeah, good. It's good.
Well, look, first of all, fascinating interview with the former headmaster of that little monster, Axel Rudakubana, the Southport killer. He said, I mean, some of this, I guess, is not that surprising, but the headmaster, his name is, Headteacher Joanne Hodson, she says that he was the most sinister pupil I have ever seen. She went on to say he was sinister, unpredictable, and most unusual. And she always had a sense of dread that he was building up to something. Now, respect to her, she obviously spotted this. But it just feeds into this picture, The prevent scheme didn't think he was worth looking into. The authorities seeing this sinister, troublesome guy, just let him carry on, and the rest is history.
Well, this head teacher, she obviously has a lot of experience. That school is designed for like disrupted pupils, and what strikes me, Kevin, is that she wrote in her report, this boy is sinister, and she was contacted by the authorities who told her, you've got to remove that word. You can't describe a child as sinister. You've got to say inappropriate. And I think we've got a word for people who use the word inappropriate, and it begins with W. Generally,
word.
So well, even worse than that, I think.
Yeah. but WW.
But. What strikes me is she made every effort to inform the authorities, who then tried to dumb down what she was saying, all that experience. And then you've got the prevent scheme letting us down as well. And I've got to say, Kevin, I'm a crime historian. I research crime. He stabbed those little girls over 100 times. The wickedness of Axel Rudakubana is beyond belief, and the authorities. I've no doubt as well that this alleged racism has a part to play, that we see all the time, that the people are afraid to report somebody who's black or Asian, as we saw at Manchester Arena and things like that, that all this plays into the authorities letting us down.
Yeah, and we need more teachers like Joanne Hodson, and we need more people to listen to people like Joanne Hodson, who had the sort of courage to rise above.
What we need, though, is the name, because it says that the authorities, basically, the school authorities, told her to dumb that word down, report down. Who was the person? Let's name that name, and let's shame this person who did that ridiculous thing.
Very, very. She told Miss Hodson of her memorable first meeting with Rudakubana, who'd come from another school because he got kicked out for carrying a knife. She said to him, "Why did you take a knife into your previous school?" She said, "He looked me in the eyes and said to use it." She said, "This is the only time in my career that a pupil has said this to me or behaved in a manner so devoid of any remorse." She spotted that this guy had a potential for serious evil, and no one listened to her.
And also she mentions that the parents were there at that meeting, and they didn't seem
They thought they had a good kid on their hands.
They didn't seem concerned about it. And the trouble is, all the time, it just sums up, who are we bringing into this country? Who is here? All these wicked killers, where do they come from? It's just beggars belief that we see people coming across the channel, we don't know who they are. How many more Axel Rudakubanas have we imported into this nation?
Yeah, Mrs. Hodson also said, she's got good way with words. She said that she had a visceral sense of dread that this kid would do something. She thought to one of his peers, but it was a lot worse than that. That is the point. We need to listen to the Miss Hodsons of this world. This is a teacher who had the courage to rise above all this racism and cultural pressure. Oh, don't, he's the son of migrants and all that kind of stuff. But our culture is, it's the son of a migrant, don't you dare be racist towards him.
Absolutely.
And the rest is history. What do you make of this Tory warning, Mike, that a massive crime wave is heading for Britain and the public will be in danger? They're obviously referring to Labour's plans to lock up fewer criminals. Was the old Tory maxim, wasn't it? Prison works. And it does, and yet Labour are trying to eradicate it.
Well, it was the Tory mantra under Michael Howard many years ago that the current protestations of the Tory party you got to dismiss, because in the sense that they're just as guilty as Labour of letting criminals out of prison, in my view. But the facts are, my experience as a detective and having spoken to criminals and known criminals, is that the one thing they fear is prison. No criminal fears a community service home. Most of these things are a joke. So we're told, oh, well, what we'll do, house arrest, we'll tag them. I did a Freedom of Information Act request, and I found out that only 25% of these tag breaches, where the tag goes off and says you're out and when you shouldn't be, whatever else, only 25% result in action. So the police go round and might say, oh, you shouldn't have done that. They don't arrest them or anything like that. So it's an absolute joke. The only way to prevent crime is lock up criminals, and what you have is these what they call hyper-prolific criminals. These are people with 50 or more convictions. Now, bearing in mind, the police solve about 5% of crime if you're lucky. So if you've got 50 convictions, it means you've done thousands of crimes. The only way to deal with them is lock them up and throw away the key. They're never rehabilitated. They'll just carry on doing their own wicked deeds. So
yeah, and the way I see it, you know, we obviously are in urgent need of more prisons.
Yes.
Labour, I think, are kind of kicking that can down the road to let more and more prisoners out and come up with their new woke plans to lock crooks up. Oh, you know...
they're victims. They're victims of society, according to Labour. That's the problem.
Yeah, you know, oh, well, you know, it's tough to build prisons. Well, what about some of these air bases they've been using for migrants? You know, you could quickly convert them. And then what I would do, I don't usually advocate giving public servants more money, but raise the money for prison officers, make it an attractive career, staff the hell out of these new prisons and put more and more people in jail. You're going to break the law, you go to jail. As you say, it is not a deterrent to say, right, I'm going to put an electric tag on your ankle. Oh, wow, well, I won't do that again. It's nonsense.
Well, and also I found out that every year there's like 1 million hours of this unpaid work that simply isn't done. They don't turn up. And what the police do, what the government do is say, we'll have these tags, we'll have this unpaid hours. What they don't do is put the people in to enforce it. It's all right putting electronic tags on people, but who's going to check that they're actually complying with it? And they load that on the police. The police have got enough to do as it is, and so these people just continue offending, and what they do is they bring misery. And the politicians, they let them out, but they never have to live next to them. They let them out and they have to live in a council estate in London, in Stoke, in Bolton, in Middlesbrough, and they bring misery to the people who just want to live their life and get by. And that's the wickedness of these politicians.
Last question to you, moving on. You're a former London detective. What do you make of Sadiq Khan's refusal to accept that we've got a rape gang problem here in the capital city? He just sticks his fingers in his ears when he's questioned at the London Assembly. What about the rape gang? He actually said, I'm sorry, I don't know, what do you mean? Do you mean county lines? No, we mean the rape gang problem. You must have seen it in on the telly, maybe read it in the papers, Mr. Khan. He is doing exactly what the authorities did in the north all those years ago when they turned their back and pretended it wasn't happening. He's on thin ice here. He's in danger, isn't he?
He is. Who can believe there is not a problem? If those problems exist in Telford, in Oldham, in Rochdale, in Rotherham, they must be 10 times as big here. Crime in London is half of the whole country. Half of the whole country. So I would suggest there's a massive problem here. And what they're doing all the time is, like the Labour Party, the government, they're kicking the can down the road. They don't want to accept. They're not Asian rape gangs. It's a Muslim issue. And that is it. And there are big problems. So I imagine, I'll put money on the table, there are big problems in places like Tower Hamlets. And it's all going to come out. And what will happen is young girls who've been raped, assaulted, they've been thrown to the wind because no one wants to look at the awfulness of the problem.
Well, he stands accused, the London Mayor, Mr. Khan, of playing politics with this. And if he is playing politics with this, we're talking about young, vulnerable girls being sexually abused. If he's playing politics with that, that's just evil.
But the whole establishment has played politics with it. He's
doing what they
exactly. What has happened before will happen again. And as I say, London is so massive in crime terms that you cannot ignore this. And there will be. Why has it not been uncovered yet? When the problem is uncovered, it'll be awful.
Absolutely, and the Mayor Carney needs to, you know, it needs to own up. I mean, this is serious. Can't pretend it's not happening.
You watch him with a question, he never answers questions. If you ask him a question, he'll just come up with some glib reply, like Starmer does in Parliament. There's never an answer to a question, just glib replies.
Exactly, and when he was quizzed at the London Assembly about it, he acted like he had no idea what the concept of a rape gang problem was. Like he'd never heard of the issue. That's disgusting. That's a disgrace. We're talking about kids. We're talking about kids being sexually abused. You can't play politics with this. You can't pretend it's not happening. It's what happened before. Unbelievable. Mike Neville, thank you so much for your time. Always a pleasure, mate. Mike Neville, former Met Police detective.